Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Right, when I left you on the last update, I was going to start on the anti-tank gun, which I have done and finished. Very, very tiny little gun. Frustrating? No, not really. It was fiddly, but it does look extremely good. It really does. And I'm looking forward to putting this onto the front of the boat. Any issues with it? No. It's just that you need very small fingers. That's all I can say. I was sort of dreading it a little bit because I thought maybe it's going to be the Beaufort gun saga all over again, but no, it wasn't. It went together nice and easily. It's just very fiddly. So from that, in time honoured fashion, we go down to the destructions, and let's get rid of this light because it's throwing. That's better. Right. We are pulled out. This is where I left you last time. We was doing the gun. As you can see, quite a few pages on that. Or just on the actual gun itself. So we're up to 29. Now 29 is the depth charges, which I'm going to put together and do. Then we go on to mounting the anti-tank gun. We've got little tiny bits and pieces to go on, which I'm going to just run through and do them all. And the same as on this, it's just small pieces to go in. And that is going to be literally, well, oh, hang on, spoke too soon. We've got the radio mast, some lights and some other bits and pieces. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through, because that has definitely got to be the last. Yes, it has. So I'm going to run through and put all these last bits and pieces on, get them done and put them on, and then we'll have a look at the whole build itself, because that will be the build work finish. So we'll have a look at the whole thing, and also I'll have a little discussion with you about the diorama and which way I'm going to go with that. So I shall be back very shortly. As promised, I'm back with, well, the camera is virtually against the wall because this is such a big boat to get in. It is absolutely huge, but she's all finished. All the little bits have been put on and all finished off. The depth charges, they have just been put on with a little bit of blue tack just to show you. That's it. They are going to come off and be painted separately. Everything's done. Everything's finished, and I shall try and get the camera a little bit closer. So excuse any creaks, groans, and moans as it comes in. And we'll start at the stern. Everything now is finished. All the little bits and pieces. The anti-aircraft gun, the machine gun turret, torpedo tubes, all the little bits of PE have been put on and finished. And then I shall slowly move you along. And like I say, excuse any creaks and groans that comes from this arm that holds the camera. On to the bridge. Everything's been put on except for the fitting of the windscreen, as I call it. or the shield to protect them from the sea. That will be done when the spraying's been done. The radio mast, that's been put on, and the small radio mast has been put on as well. All the little bits of PE, the horn, the front windows have had PE covering on it. I can't stretch this down no further. There we go. They've had PV covers put on it. The anti-tank gun, that's been fitted, but not tied down, because I'm going to paint that all separately and then I'm going to string it all down. The same with the depth charges. There's actually cord to go around them, but I've just put them on with a little bit of blue tack just so you can see. Moving right up to the bow, everything's been done, including the little bit of PE at the end. So the whole job is now complete, and excuse the creaks and groans, and I think she looks pretty good. I really do. And now we move over to painting, and also some thoughts on a diorama, which I will go into next before I go into paints. Alright, before going any further, we'll a little bit of a chat about the colour scheme. Now, this little picture is sort of like indicating it's sort of greyish. Then on the back we have greenish, and that's what they're telling me here, it's a flat green. So I'm going to take the bull by the horns, because I think this is the one and only vehicle that would really benefit from a modulation kit. I don't normally use them, but there's going to be hardly no weathering or wear and damage to this, only maybe in the walk areas here, on the bridge and that, and maybe a tiny bit around the actual boat near the torpedo tubes. So I think this is really going to benefit from a modulation kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to do an order for olive drab primer from, it's going to be AK because I like AK, and they also AK do a modulation olive drab modulation kit, which I shall order one of them. I'm still going to go for the red hull. That's still going on. You do have an option actually. You can actually go black. I don't know the reason for that. I don't know even if they did do it black, but there you go. I'm going to stick to the colours that I've got here, and that's red hull, olive drab. But I'm going to go for the modulation kit. I think once you pinpoint a section of light very similar to what they've got here, the light's coming in from this direction, so we've got the darker shadows over this side. I think once you do that, I think that will really benefit from it. So that's that. Next bit is going to be the instructions. This is just a photo copy of the plans of the boat. Now, I've been online, and the crew for the PT 109, as you can see, they're all sort of posed in the working. There's one there cleaning the decks, another one painting, another one giving orders. We've got plenty of people like that giving orders. And then we've got the captain, first lieutenant, or whatever it is they're called. They're sort of like constipating on something or other, but not quite sure. So this is really going to define how I'm going to do a diorama. I did want to see an all action one of it smashing through the waves and everything else, but As this is the only sort of figure set that you can get for it, I have looked around and most of them, you can get loads of British ones, but you can't get the American ones. It's strange. Figures, they're the vein of my life. Anyway, what I'm thinking is to have the boat in some type of harbour, and what I'm thinking is a pier or jetty that will run either side of it, maybe one this side as well, with ropes moored up, maybe one across the back. I'm not quite sure yet, I'm still thinking about that. Standard posts into the sea, going on to my favourite stuff, my resin, water all the way around it because it's out, well, almost out at sea. Then have the crew scattered around the ship doing different things. Maybe a torpedo on here ready to be loaded or whatever, fuel drums, other bits and pieces, maybe boxes and that. Getting this ready for its next mission out. So that's roughly what I'm thinking about that. This is going to be handed over. I'm going to put this onto my other channel as it's a diorama base. There will, if you're interested in which way I'm going with that, it will be over on there, and I'll go into a lot more detail on the piers and how it's going to look like. But for those who are, you know, you just want to see the finished product and you want to roughly know what's going on, so that's roughly what's going to be going on. It's going to be in a diorama, it's going to be in a small harbour, being refuelled and replenished with food and ammunition and torpedoes. And that is about it, really. That is the end of this update. Now the next one's going to be on painting. I'm going to get all my paint ordered, and I shall do an update on the painting and the finishing off, and I'll let you actually see it all when it's all finished painting and everything else, and then it will be all down to getting the diorama finished and completing the whole job. So thank you very much for sitting through and listening to me dribble on and dravel on, and we'll see you on the next update.